It is so good to see all our friends and families of VBS here this morning. And as you want to become a pastor like me, you have to go to a school called seminary. So you get to get the education, how to be a pastor in a church. But seminary never taught me that when you become a pastor, sometimes you'll end up dressing like a robot and acting completely silly. And that's what exactly happened in August 2021, just 1 month after I was appointed to here, Sewerna Park UMC. Erica, our wonderful children's director, told me that I was going to be a robot for VBS. And she ordered me this Halloween costume. I became Wonderbot, known for the biggest burp in the world. And yes, I had to prove it every single day that week. The seminary also never taught me that sometimes as a pastor, you'll become a wild sports fan, even you don't know the first thing about sports. Erica once again told me that I'll be the mega fan of VBS. But this time, it was 2 years later, I protested her. Erica, you know me, I don't do sports. I don't follow any team. I know it's pretending, but there will be a lack of very serious genuineness in this. So kids will know that I'm not a real fan. But Erica, bless her heart, reassured me, Narae, mega fan isn't a fan of sports. Mega fan loves the kids who is in VBS, who's doing sports or cooking or arts and crafts or music or broadcast journalism. Well, I was persuaded right away because that, loving kids, I could do that from my heart. So for the past 2 years, I've been the mega fan, cheering, dancing, encouraging kids, and teaming up with my good partner, Ashley, right there, for the opening and halftime and closing rallies. Who knew that I would get a chance to brush up my acting skills every year as a pastor? This year's VBS theme was Serve, focusing on serving others while also serving balls as in sports. Caroline read for us this morning 1 Timothy in chapter 4, verse 12 has guided us all week. Don't let anyone put you down because you are young. Teach believers with your life by word, by demeanor, by love, by faith, by integrity. This verse comes from a letter written by the Apostle Paul to a young church leader named Timothy. Timothy was probably in his early 30s, and some people thought he was too young or inexperienced to lead a church. But Paul believed in him and reminded him that don't listen to the people. Leadership starts with you, how you live. So during VBS, we focus on young people and children on the Bible who made a difference. We talked about Timothy, of course. We learned about Miriam, Moses' sister, who watched over him in the basket in the river and bravely spoke up when the princess of Egypt found him. We heard about a nameless servant girl who led General Naaman to healing his leprosy, his skin disease, and we remember young Samuel who heard God's calling in the middle of the night. And on the last day, we celebrate the child who offered his or her lunch, 5 loaves and 2 fish, which Jesus turned into a miracle that fed thousands. And our kids didn't just learn about service, they actually did it. All our VBS participants from preschool to fifth grader took part in various service projects, as you can see on and around the altar this morning. Kids brought non-perishable food for the weekend meals in Backpack Buddies. Arts and craft team made beautiful welcome mats for our welcome home projects and placemats for the winter relief. I will not explain all the missions that we do here in SPUMC because in the insert of your bulletin give you the name and description of part of the missions that we do in our church. And these are the missions that you can participate as a family. The cooking class made a delicious chocolate chip cookies for Heaven's Kitchen, which is our monthly communal meal with Brooklyn Community UMC, which just took place yesterday. And my daughter Rua was in cooking class, and she insists that coming to Heaven's Kitchen so she could proudly tell our guests that I made these cookies. My kids love to go to Heaven's Kitchen because they always have delicious food, and they enjoy serving, helping out, setting up the table, and passing out desserts. And we always sit and eat with our guests because serving isn't just about giving, it's about sharing life and building relationship. Our music class went on a little field trip to Heartlands, our next door assisted living community, and perform for the residents. It was such a joy to see the residents' smiles. Some of the kids also made unbagged lunches for the Lighthouse Shelter, packed Encore hygiene kits, made blankets for the hospital. Even our youngest kids help making bookmarks, placements, and help pack lunches. Every one of us found a way to serve. But serving didn't stop with the kids. All of our adults and youth volunteers were amazing all week. And there are so many moving parts in VBS that needs to be done in day. Even the VBS begins. These are our amazing volunteers. Volunteers shop for the supplies, decorated classrooms and hallways, and prepare materials for each child that's going to be in here. Sometimes serving look like lifting and moving heavy equipment, or caring for someone who got hurt, or sharpening a bunch of colored pencils for our arts and crafts team. Our volunteers served by making over 250 snow cones in under 90 minutes. That's amazing. They swept floors, cleaning after snack time. Reverend Ron served with his camera. Laura and Nicola served with their musical gift. And Meg also led the broadcast journalism team and put together wonderful video we can see. And Martha used her gift to put together a beautiful altar and stayed late after VBS was done. And she volunteered for the whole week. And there are so many other volunteers served patiently by walking the kids, the little ones, to the bathroom endless times in a day, and quietly taking out the trash by the end of the day. Every act of service, seen or unseen, was reflection of God's love in action. The best moment in VBS that I won't forget came during our opening rally on the first day. So this is the beginning of VBS with our kids. And Ashley and I were in a skit and pretending to be the kids, just like the other VBS participants. According to the skit, we were going to see Miss Erica struggling with the heavy not heavy, but big boxes. And we're going to offer her help. And as a lesson that kids can help, everyone can serve, even the kids. So everything went smoothly, just as Erica entered the scene, struggling with the big box full of beach balls. And our friend Elliot, who we used to call a little preacher because he likes to speak in the mic, spontaneously jumped onto the skid and offered help to Erica. And he moved the boxes to the other side. And Ashley and I were surprised, but since we're professionals, yes. We rolled with it and adjusted the skid at the spot, and honestly, Elia made the lesson even better. It wasn't pretend skid anymore. It was real. Even if you're a kid, you can help, you can serve. But what really amazes me was that Elliot felt safe and comfortable being himself right here in our church in front of everyone. And that's what truly matters. The most important thing that we can give to our kids as a church is a safe place where they can be their genuine, authentic selves, where they know they're loved, valued, and trusted, where they can just jump into skid, asking interesting questions, offer help, or just be a little silly, and know that they belong here. And that's true not just for our kids, but for us, all of us. God invites each one of us, no matter our age, our ability, or how qualified we feel, to serve, to show up, to share who we are. We just did this song, This Little of Light. I'm gonna let it shine. We sang and danced to the song, but it never really came to me. But this year, when we sang, it's interesting that we didn't sing about the big light. This big light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. No. Or this fancy light, or this sparkling light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. But this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And that's all God asked for. That is your light, your kindness, your courage, your joy, your story, and yourself. We often wait for a perfect moment to serve. When we are older, when we have more time, when we are wiser, more mature, more confident, more skilled, more healthier, when the kids grow up, when I'm less busy. But the truth is that there is no perfect moment to serve. And God isn't looking for the perfect light to shine. God is looking for little light of yours, a little light of mine, your humble, authentic light that only you can shine. Paul tells Timothy, don't let anyone put you down because you're young. And today, I want to open this up for you. Don't let anyone put you down because you are blank. And you can fill in anything that hinder you from serving. Too young, too old, too new, too tired, too different, too afraid. Anything that you put in the blank that blocks you, hinders you from right now. God already knows, and God still says, don't wait, serve now. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment to live out your faith. You just need to show up with a heart ready to love, give, and serve. Bring your little light and let it shine, and let it shine. Amen.